everyone. Welcome back in. My name is Brooks Talley here with Tristan Hirsch, Devin Dowdy, and this is Inbound Sports Podcast. We're here, I think it's week 10 of the NFL, week 11 of college football, with plenty to discuss. So let's kick it off. We'll start off with Tristan Hirsch.
Yo, let's hear those college football predictions, Devin.
Oh man. Well, I don't think Ohio State will beat Michigan, so they won't be the number one. I'm still going with my original. I'm still going Georgia, Michigan, Florida State, Washington in that order. Now, Washington's next two games are like the biggest of the year. Yeah, they have Utah at home. Then they got to go to Oregon State, which I have been riding high on Oregon State. So they could be spoiler. I mean, that game could cost them everything. Like, I really think they could lose that. If they do lose that, Oregon. I have Oregon as my fourth.
Yeah,
that's what I got.
I 100% agree. I mean, I think Oregon deserves a legitimate shot at the playoffs. That's a really good football team. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Bo Nix, but Bo Nix is the perfect collegiate quarterback.
True.
He can move around the pocket. He can scramble. Honestly, he just gets you to where you need to be, and he gets the ball to where it needs to be. He's not this over-the-top game manager guy. He's a playmaker, and that's what you need in college football is playmakers, like Caleb Williams. So, and Oregon is complete on both sides of the ball. Defense, offense, great skill position players. I think Oregon deserves a legitimate shot. To me, especially after watching Washington play against USC, it felt like they're just narrowly making it by. That USC team is not that good, and they let them hang in there. So I'm a little hesitant with Washington. I think Oregon's going to get a legit shot. I think if Ohio State loses, I think the committee strongly considers them not being in the playoff because their biggest win, I guess Penn State's a pretty decent win. Their other biggest win is Notre Dame, and Notre Dame obviously has fallen off the map. So if they lose to Michigan, I think it's one of those things you consider them not being in it because a list of their wins are not that impressive besides Penn State, honestly. So that would leave room for maybe Washington to get in there and then Oregon filling in at the number 4 with Georgia. Georgia's starting to come on. I mean, we've been really critical, all of us here, of them the last few weeks. Carson Beck's looked good. They haven't had Brock Bowers, and they played really well. So you kind of can assume that maybe they're trying to find a stride here because football, as we all know, is getting hot at the right time. Your team's playing good at the right time. And Georgia looks like they might be starting to find that stride. Michigan hasn't done anything for you to feel otherwise that they shouldn't be 1 or 2. So, yeah, I think strongly my opinion is I think we got 1-2 Georgia, Michigan, and we're going to end up Florida State is just tough. I could see Florida State.
They just keep winning, man. It's
They
weird.
do.
Like,
They
I
do.
can't put an identity on the team, but they're freaking physical. They're good.
They are.
Like, I just want to see them win that big game where I'm like,
Oh,
okay.
you bet.
Good.
And that ACC championship game, Louisville, if that's who they play, Louisville has been a team knocking on the door, surprising some people. I mean, they could fall off to Louisville.
Yeah.
Clemson's play is starting to possibly pick it up. Duke is a tough team if Riley Leonard plays. So, I mean, Florida State, like you said with Washington, with Oregon, they've got a tough couple of games.
North Carolina, too, right?
They've kind of fallen off
Yeah,
lately.
yeah.
They haven't played very good. They've lost to teams they shouldn't have lost to.
Drake May is still a stud, though.
Drake May, fantastic quarterback. He'll
Yeah.
probably be top 3 pick in the NFL. So, like I said, Florida State's one of those teams like Washington that could really take a shot to fall back. It feels like we're all just waiting for Ohio State to fall off.
Yeah.
Because they just haven't really passed the eye test. I mean, a win is a win, don't get me wrong. But, like I said, their wins haven't been that impressive. When you beat Rutgers, number 20 Rutgers, by 10 points, is that what it was? I mean,
It wasn't a lot.
it wasn't a lot. And that's one of those things you look at and you're like, that's not cutting it for a team that should be top 4. But that's just me.
Fair enough.
Nothing from you?
I agree.
Okay.
I think, if you want to hear my top 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I think I'd put Michigan at number 1.
Yep.
They won't because of this situation.
True.
That's
I
the
agree.
only
I
reason. They're
agree.
the best team in the country.
Big
I
time.
say that. Yes.
I'd put Georgia at 2.
Yeah.
Let's go Ohio State at 3, Washington 4, and then I would say Florida State and Oregon are a toss-up for 5 and 6.
Yeah, it's going to be a hectic last couple of weeks that's going to decide everything.
Yes.
So I don't know. I have no idea. I don't like Ohio State at 1 right now, but to be fair, they do have the 2 best wins out of anyone in that top 4 right now,
Mm-hmm.
so I get it. But Michigan at 3 is an absolute
Yeah.
disgrace. That's why I don't like Ohio State.
Like you said, I mean, the worst thing they could possibly do right now, the NCAA, to draw attention to themselves, put Michigan at 1.
Yeah, they're not
With
going to do
everything
that. We
going
know
on.
that.
I mean, they're going to keep them in the playoff race, but they're just not going to put them at 1, basically to save face.
Oh yeah,
So
100%.
Yeah, it's
They're-
pretty weird.
Yeah, no, I like it. I think we know who the 6 teams in the running for it are.
True.
Oh, for sure.
I
I mean,
just-
Alabama's kind of worked their way back into it. I
They
mean,
have a shot, I think.
Yeah,
I
I
really
mean,
do think
Texas.
that loss
Texas,
to Texas is a good loss. I mean,
Yeah.
because honestly, the way this year's winding up, we're not going to necessarily be looking at good wins. We're going to be looking at the best losses
Yeah.
for the last teams to get in. I mean, obviously,
Where's
you know,
Oklahoma at right now? Like, standing wise?
that
Did
loss to
they
Kansas
drop
dropped
quite a
them.
bit?
Yeah, that.
Kansas is
Probably-
not that great of a team. It was a perfect storm game for Kansas. I mean, they had everything going for them. It was home. It was their homecoming.
True.
They just got their quarterback back. Like I said, it was a perfect storm game for them. Oklahoma was coming off a bye week and just beating Texas. So, I mean, they were probably pretty tired, just not quite into it.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know. It's like I said, I personally feel like these last couple of teams, it's going to wind up who has the best losses.
I agree.
Pretty much.
Yeah, Alabama's got one of the best losses. I mean, that
Hey,
Texas
true.
team is good.
Who knows?
Texas has got one of the best losses. Oklahoma played them great in one of the most important games. I mean, they lost by single digits.
Yep.
So,
The lucky Kansas State didn't beat them, but
yeah, and that's
True.
all I'm saying.
saying.
Kansas State had them on the thing. I would be surprised if Texas makes it. They'll
play
get a-
Arch Manning, please.
Yeah, they'll
just
get
play him.
That Malik, whatever his name is, he's good.
Yeah, Ewers is coming back though this week.
Ewers, yeah, I mean,
he's
it's Ewers' job to lose.
yeah.
But
He's-
that Malik guy, I mean,
Yeah.
if Ewers or him enters transfer portal, they'll be highly sought after.
Mhm.
Ewers might enter the NFL, but
Yeah, I think you
which
will.
would that
I don't know if
surprise me.
this year's a tough class to be.
It is. I wouldn't do it this year if I was him.
I don't know. It's if Caleb's going or not. If Caleb goes, then you're not. If Caleb stays, then you're going.
Well,
Like,
even
that's-
then, I mean, would you draft him over Bo Nix? Would you draft him over Jordan Travis? Would you draft him over Jaden Daniels?
Drake May.
Well, obviously Drake May's going to be 2.
Yeah.
But I mean, those are 3 other guys. Would you draft him over J.J. McCarthy, Quinn Ewers? I don't think I would draft him over.
No,
all
I mean
all
he's.
4 of those guys.
But I don't know if do you think he has the potential to get to that level?
I think he's got to give himself another year. That's why I wouldn't go.
I don't know.
Big time.
I don't know. We'll
It's
see.
tough. But I mean, college football's interesting, especially now with the next topic we're going into of Michigan.
Big two.
Oh, man, that's.
Let's hear your boys' thoughts on this Big Ten disaster.
It feels like they're playing with fire. I mean, it could blow up into something big for Michigan, but it all just. Everyone you talk to has a different opinion on it, and it literally just depends on how you see the state of college football, in my opinion.
I feel like we haven't seen enough proof and evidence yet. Like,
Yeah.
as the public.
Right.
To make a.
Besides that manifesto, because like they said, the Michigan manifesto that got leaked, it's nothing that's like, oh my god, this is game changing. I mean, you can look at the numbers, and I think before Stallions was hired, he was like 38 and 41 record, and then after Stallions was hired, he's like 23 and 1. That's pretty much the most condemning thing, is that this sign stealing thing has directly impacted how well they're doing overall. If they are a 500 team, I don't think anybody gives a shit. I really don't. I mean, it doesn't affect it. That's my opinion, but I don't know what you guys think.
No, I don't really think there's a big issue. The only one that I think they're going to get punished on, which they should, is the extremes that it looks like they
Yes.
took to
Oh,
go
yeah.
like putting him in a uniform, like him.
Yeah.
Even if they, I don't think Jim Harbaugh like told him to Venmo and get these things. Like,
Yeah,
I
that's-
think Connor was a lifelong Michigan fan from what I was reading, like growing up. So he's diehard.
Yeah.
Wanted to like make Coach Harbaugh best coach they've had in
Yeah.
like maybe the school his history.
Yeah.
So like, I don't think Jim Harbaugh was like pay them to get the.
Yes.
He's
Yeah.
never going to do that.
No.
I don't know. But then again, I don't know Coach Harbaugh. So like, I'm
Sure.
not going to speak on that like that. But I don't think it's that big a deal. They just submitted evidence that Rutgers, Ohio State, and Penn State, I think, all gave Purdue their signs last year. So they were doing it to Michigan. So
Yeah.
Michigan's like, "Yo, this isn't just a thing we do."
Right. That's the thing.
It's if Michigan flips it like that, they're gonna get the little stallion slap on the wrist. He already resigned and left the program, so I'm sure
Yeah.
they're gonna be like, "Okay, here's your."
Do you guys think they hold them out of a bowl game, the championship game.
That'd be
Or-
bullshit. That would be bullshit.
I think if you punish them, you punish them in the offseason.
Punish-
you
Punish
put
them.
punishments in
Punish them the
Yeah.
next year because,
Right.
I'm sorry, but they also have the best college football roster right now.
They're the best team.
They are the best team. This is not. I mean, and I get it. Well, if you're the best team, why steal signs?
Right.
Everyone's looking for a competitive edge, and
Exactly.
if you're not willing to change your signs, then sorry, it's on you at that point. Fool me
Yeah.
once, shame on you, but fool me twice. Like it's. I don't know. I think it's getting blown out of the waters.
Yeah.
The Big Ten will do something before the NCAA does. I think.
Oh, for
personally.
sure.
I
If-
agree.
They'd be stupid to let it get to the point where the NCAA's got to come in.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Don't punish the players. Punish the coach.
No,
Punish Harbaugh
yeah,
if
exactly.
anything.
I mean-
punish the athletic department after the season's over.
if you punish that team right now, the only people you're punishing is the seniors, and the seniors are the ones that were on that team that was barely. I think it was barely above 500. I mean,
Yeah.
those are the guys that had nothing to do with this. I mean, yes, should things have happened? Probably not. But me personally, if you're going to sit there and tell me that no other team goes to a little above the rules extraint to get a competitive edge, such as film watch or trying to steal signs, I think you're wrong. They totally are. Are they paying people through Venmo to go and photograph and go to this almost over the top thing? Probably not, but they'll be punished. I mean, it might be they lose 20 scholarships.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be to the point where they lose their chances at a national championship. Harbaugh's never allowed to show his face in college football. I mean, that's just not good for the game overall because, like I said, if you're going to go to that extreme, you really got to crack down on it, in my opinion.
And the NCAA never makes a quick decision. So,
No.
this is for people that are sitting there going, well, something's going to happen quick. No, it
Right.
won't. Big Ten can't ban them from anything. I think they can just suspend Harbaugh, I think, is all they
Yeah.
can do. So,
Well, I mean, I guess I view this kind of like a lot of the recruiting scandals. Like, I mean, Miami got caught having recruits on planes with strippers and doing all this stuff. Like, 100% did it. I think they just slapped them on the wrist and they gave them a bowl ban for a year. That's maybe what they should do to Michigan next year. I mean, like I said, but here's the thing. They didn't give Miami something crazy because they knew literally everybody was doing it. They weren't going to the extent of giving them strippers. But they were, taking recruits to this and that. I mean, they already hammered Harbaugh for taking a recruit to go bottom a burger. I mean, he had to sit out 3 games for that. So, I don't know. It's interesting. Like I said, I think you gotta... You're walking along a fine line there because, I mean, you're going to find some evidence for a lot of different things if you really start looking at it.
it's not worth digging because you're never going to stop digging. It's just
There you
going
go.
to
You're gonna
take
find
you
a
on a
lot.
trail across the entire country, and then you're just going to be able... You're not going to be able to look at what you have in front of you and be even proud of what's
Yep.
there at that point. So, keep your pride. Just leave it.
Yep.
Acknowledge that everyone does it and slap on the wrist.
Yep.
Give them a punishment because they do deserve it, but
Yeah,
just
for sure.
move on. This
Yep.
is dumb. So,
I agree.
That's where I'm at. Okay.
Well, let's flip over to the NFL and let's hear your guys' top 5 teams.
Every bit of me wants to put Baltimore in one.
Oh, that's
Right
where I'm
now.
at.
Every bit of me
I
wants
did.
to.
I like it.
I did it.
They're my
But-
Super Bowl favorites right
Did
now.
it.
They're a great team, but
Did it.
how many times does Baltimore have to let us down? They are such a good team.
Hey.
Every year they just find a way to either not make the playoffs, lose their last 8 games, whatever it is.
It's week 10, man.
I mean, it's
I'm
week
telling
10.
you,
A lot can happen.
in 7 weeks, probably not going to be the number 1 team. I bet
Right.
they're still up there in the AFC race for
Yeah.
sure. But Kansas City's probably going to be up there.
Yeah.
Cincinnati's going to be up there as
Yeah.
well. So
I think if I had to,
They're the
do it
most
as
complete team
as of
right
right
now.
now. 1 Baltimore,
Yes.
2 Philadelphia, 3
Okay.
Kansas City,
okay,
4 Cincinnati, 5 I want to put San Fran or Dallas in that conversation. I think Dallas's loss to Philadelphia was a good loss.
I think they were getting overly scrutinized for that loss to
Oh, for
Philadelphia. I
sure.
don't think it was that big of a choke.
Yeah.
It was a great game. Their defenses both played great, and actually Dak and CD still were very effective. So I think we need to chill out a little bit on the hate for the Cowboys. But,
Yeah, I agree.
Which I hate saying because I absolutely love to hate on the Cowboys.
Oh, everybody.
But
I mean, if you're
that was a good game.
freaking-
That was a good
yeah,
game.
normal. It was. So I guess that's my 5. I don't know what you guys think, but like I said, Baltimore to me, as of right now, you can't dock them for the past. As of right now, they're the number 1 team.
I got Baltimore 1, Chiefs 2, Philly 3. I mean,
Yep.
Philly's got the better record, but Philly
Their defense.
Philly has, like, I look at Kansas City and I'm like, okay, you don't have receivers. You've really decimated yourself there. Patrick Mahomes is like, the O-line can't hold up for him trying to make all this magic figured out. Travis Kelce. So
I think this is the first year we've ever seen Patty Mahomes be a little human too.
Mm-hmm.
But but now they got the bye week. He's gonna go bananas mode now. So
I mean, he's still been on
their defense is they've got an identity. They're very, very good. So Chiefs and Philly, they're 2 and 3, and I have the Lions at 4.
Yeah.
Coming off a bye. I mean,
I don't hate that at all.
I think they're until they like really show me, like, I know the Baltimore game was bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got Cincinnati at 5. I have 49ers at 6 just because they got injuries. Trent Williams, as long as he's out, they're going to struggle to win.
team.
They're going to struggle to win. That piece alone
He's elite.
will lose games. That's an L on the schedule every week right now.
I agree.
And they got to go to one of the best, hottest teams in the league, Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And that's and across the country. I think they lose that game. I think that's my.
I think
I
Jacksonville could
think
be
Jags take
top
it because that defense is going to get to Brock.
Yep.
And that offense is going to know exactly how to get around that defense. And so I don't know. And then Miami, their defense is bad. So, like, until Ramsey's back, I can't put them anywhere. But, I mean, I don't know. 49ers, I still think they've
got a.
They get healthy. They get healthy. They're the biggest. They're the best.
the most polished.
Oh, yeah. They can win. They'd have my Super Bowl pick like that with the snap of my fingers. But
Yep, I agree.
if they're not healthy, then no.
Yep, I agree.
No.
All right, well, another NFL one. Rookie of the Year. Right now, as of last week, in my opinion, it seems
It's
obvious.
not even a debate.
Yeah, it seems pretty obvious, but I mean, obviously we're all CJ Stroud.
Yes.
He's the guy. But Puka Nacua deserves some love.
Definitely.
I mean,
Hey, sneaky draft class.
Definitely.
Honest to God.
For
There are a
real.
lot of rookies
He
making
just
an
gets
impact.
overshadowed by Cooper Cup.
yeah, I mean, Cooper Kupp
And the
being
team's
back.
kind of struggling. Matt Stafford's getting
Yeah,
looming
I mean,
injuries again, so it's like,
Carson Wentz might be throwing
crap.
him the ball here soon. I mean, I think CJ Stroud's going to run away with the voting. He might be the first ever, in
Unanimous.
my knowledge, unanimous Rookie of the Year. But there should be flowers given to Puka Nacua. I
Yes.
mean,
I
for
agree.
what he's done.
Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers is very talented. But
Not
I mean,
quite as impactful
he hasn't
as
put,
Puka
Yeah,
Nacua
he hasn't put
yet.
up the numbers Puka has. And I mean, I think Puka will just get some flowers just because of his story. I mean,
Yeah.
nobody, 5th-round draft pick out of BYU, really kind of just grinded his way to build a relationship with Stafford. He's got a lot of things like Cooper Kupp. I mean, beautiful route runner. And I mean, a guy of that quality and that production to find as a rookie is difficult. So I think that's largely why he should at least get some nods. But with that being said, it's Stroud's
To lose.
Yeah, 100 to 1,
Yeah,
you know.
100%.
No chance.
Yeah, I mean, what about defense, too? Because they'll probably have defensive...
Oh, yeah, defensive rookie of the year, Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
I mean,
Him
he's been the most
him or
impactful.
Witherspoon.
Yeah, he's been the most
Witherspoon's been a
impactful.
dog.
Yep.
I think if Gonzalez doesn't get hurt for the Patriots, he's in that
He
conversation.
definitely is from Oregon.
He had a really
The
good
safety
few
from
years.
Oregon or
Yeah, or
whatever.
a few weeks.
Yep.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's one of them things, man. It changes every week. I mean,
Big time.
next week, if Stroud throws 6 picks, we'll be saying somebody else.
Fuck this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean, yeah, CJ Stroud. I mean, I'll give props to him because I was wrong. I was hating on him so much going into the draft, and now I'm like, well, you're by far the best quarterback in the draft, and it's not even close. Bryce Young is scaring me. I think he has bust written all over him.
I feel bad for him. He's in
I feel.
a horrible
Here's the
situation.
thing. I feel for him, but like, he has been very underwhelming for the opportunities that he has gotten. I'm like,
I think he could still be good.
I
He's
still,
just
I think I'll say this yet
Very
of anyone that I've ever
Yeah.
been like, ooh, you have bust written over you. I still have a lot of confidence in Bryce
Yeah.
Young's ability to win football games. And the Panthers are bad right now, and they're
I mean,
he doesn't have a lot of help. So I will say that.
The thing is that character-wise, he's going to be okay. He's a
Yeah.
good kid. He's a
Yep.
hard worker. He's going to study film. You just hope that his lack of size and build don't harm him. Because, I mean, that's, in my opinion, that's really where he's kind of falling short, is things are moving really fast. He's getting the shit kicked out of him because he's so small.
If you put
It's just
Kyler's like athleticism with Bryce Young's character and like his mind,
Yes.
you'd have a great quarterback.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
I really like Bryce Young as a person.
he's got a good head on his shoulders.
He
I know
does.
that, but
he's just in a horrible situation.
and I mean, and maybe I'm hating on the kid too early, but it was just like,
Right. I mean, because like if you think of like Jamarcus Russell right now, I mean,
oh yeah,
they're probably performing about the same, which is sad.
yeah. But I have way more faith in what Bryce Young's going to do.
Bingo. Than a guy like Jamarcus who watches zero film. I think him too. I think C.J. Stroud proved as a quarterback coming in the NFL, the most important traits are quick decision making and accuracy.
Yep.
I mean, Joe Burrow's the same way. C.J. Stroud. I had another guy on the tip of my tongue I was going to say is like that. But that's the most important quality in a quarterback right now in the NFL is getting the ball out quick, getting the ball out fast.
And putting it on the money.
Putting it where it needs to be. Tua's success this year has been because of the very similar reason.
Yeah, he's got precision accuracy. That's
absolutely.
ridiculous.
Absolutely.
Even with 2 CT incidents.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh.
the guy should be a vegetable on a feeding tube, for God's
Honestly.
sakes, with how hard he's been hit. But feel for him. Yeah, man, that transposing was disgusting. I still remember. I thought
Cincinnati,
he was dead.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Cincinnati,
Yeah, the all-white Cincinnati.
Yep.
Yeah.
It curled up. I was like, uh-oh.
Well, let's talk about some coaches in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
Who do you think the Raiders should go and grab?
Oh, just keep Antonio Pierce.
You think?
Oh, absolutely. That guy is speaking to that locker room right now.
Yeah.
That look, Mark Davis has got to be so careful because he whiffed Bisaccia. He whiffed it. Like, I'm not saying Bisaccia is the long-term coaching decision, but for the next 3 to 4 years, Rick Bisaccia could have taken that roster, gotten to the playoffs a couple times. But I think Pierce, they can go chase Super Bowls.
Fair.
That's a good team.
I mean, he needs more time.
I still think they're dumpster fire.
I mean, they've got...
They need more time.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think it's a lot. It's an emotional week. You're coming off of a lot of players are happy. McDaniels and the Ziegler are out, so your morale is at an all time high for how bad they have been playing. So, but you hear how the way he talks about them to them, and the interactions the players are having with reporters. It's a completely different locker room now. So like, Max Crosby went ape shit. Sorry, but he went crazy against the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
Jacobs played well. Devontae Adams played well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, right now he's 1-0. He's won more games than McDaniels won for a while. Like,
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm not saying
True. Very true.
I'm not saying Antonio Pierce is going to be the Raiders coach for next 10 to 15 years, but I'm saying when you can speak to a locker room, especially with how fragile that are, because like
that situation.
you're spiraling. Like if you're Davis, like this is a lot of years of bad decisions. Make the right one and just ask your players, who do you want?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll put the guy in here, and he can put the guys in here that you guys want in here, and that when I throw you money to go play the game of football, you actually give a shit and want to go out there and win.
Yeah.
And
True.
right now, it's him. But I don't know. Harbaugh. I think Jim Harbaugh is another candidate that
Maybe.
catches my attention.
I did hear Bill Belichick might be on the
Oh God!
Yeah.
And Brady's now a minority
No.
owner in the Raiders.
Did you guys see?
Come on now!
Not to the Raiders.
It just
but
came out today. Bill
Oh,
Belichick. doing
I
the
thought you
walk
were
of
saying
shame.
about the Raiders.
Just
Did you guys see
Bill
that?
Belichick is in the
See that video on X today? Somebody has like a Ring doorbell cam of Bill Belichick because he just got divorced, doing the walk of shame without a shirt on, leaving some chick's house.
I did not see
Not even kidding. It's just like the most weirdest thing you've ever seen. It was wild.
Oh, Bill's getting frisky.
Bill, man, poor Bill. He's in a tough time right now. Divorced, and you are coaching the most painful team in the NFL to watch offensively, the Patriots.
Ken,
Oh, it's
I
tough.
agree.
I guess for the Antonio Pierce thing, I think it's kind of telling that Mark Davis. I guess I don't know if he ever said it, but rumors are swirling that he has a lot of regret about not hiring Rich Bisaccia as the full-time head coach. So I think that's kind of telling that he's, reports are coming. Yeah, a little overwhelmed coming out with that. So I don't know. I think, for one, how that the Raiders team played had to be the most damning evidence ever on Josh McDaniels for a coaching gig ever. I mean, even offensively, as an offensive coordinator. When you have players that play that free, that loose, and that good as they did the first week from a guy who was a linebackers coach, that looks terrible on Josh McDaniels. Especially with like the rumors coming out that he had a players-only meeting or a team meeting, and the team just let loose on him. And to try to stop losing the team, he had Antonio Pierce speak, and Antonio Pierce told a story about when he was with the Giants.
And McDaniels cussed him
Yeah,
out for
and
it.
for talking bad about the Patriots. I'm like, dude, you shouldn't give less of a shit about the Patriots.
No.
I mean, something's not right there. And then there was rumors again that when he was the head coach of the Broncos, he traded away Peyton Hillis because his wife supposedly had a crush on him. I mean, it's a bad week for Josh McDaniels right now.
No kidding.
So, I don't know. It's interesting, but they'd be crazy not to just see what Antonio Pierce can do. See how that team plays out.
True. What do you guys think about Eberflus for the Bears? When do you think they should move on from him?
Right now. Just kidding. But that team's weird. I'm sure you can attest.
Get through the season.
That team's weird right now, man.
Get through the season. You ain't going to get a guy that's going to turn that locker room around right now. You don't have Fields out there, so like
it seems like they're almost unsure of what they're even
they don't
doing.
even know who they are out there. They have no identity.
Yeah.
They know they can win, but like they
Yeah.
just I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird situation. I don't think I've ever like they're not like I wouldn't say they're as bad of a dumpster fire as other teams are. They're kind of they have they have some positions figured out. They have
But I
some
think
personnel figured
I think
out.
this is his third or fourth year coaching. I think it's his fourth.
I mean, he needs to
It
go.
might be his third though.
After this year, he has to go.
Yeah. I think
Have to move on.
after getting rid of the GM and then getting everybody on the team is new, basically. I think you gotta freaking move the coach.
I mean,
he'd be the next piece.
chances are they're going to get the 1 and 2 pick.
Oh, big time.
Where that's really interesting to me.
Caleb
is
and Marvin.
No,
Caleb, but
I don't like Caleb. I think he's a sissy.
I
really do.
I don't-
obviously as a Notre Dame fan, I'm a huge anti-Caleb Williams guy. But if you tell me Caleb Williams is going to fix that team, I think you're wrong.
I agree.
If it was me, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like the Thunder situation in basketball. Let's acquire some draft picks. Even if they're not first rounders, let's get a handful of second rounders. Let's get a handful of third rounders, and let's just build a lot of young guys. See who we can find that has talent, and let's put it together. And like you said, the key to that's going to be a good head coach. I think, calling it now, I would put money on it. Lincoln Riley's the head coach of the Bears next year.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Or Jim Harbaugh.
I have a hard time seeing Jim Harbaugh leaving
Harbaugh-
Michigan if everything goes okay.
Harbaugh and the McCarthy's are very close, though. I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
Are they?
I'm pretty
Yes.
sure.
I mean, that could happen
They're
too.
very, very close.
That could happen. I mean, I wouldn't surprise me. But for some reason,
Lincoln Riley.
that'd be wild.
That's
I'd be
crazy.
fine with it.
I'm not hating on you. I just don't like Lincoln
No,
Riley.
and it's a wild take, but I don't know why. In my mind, I can see it happening. It all makes sense. He is Caleb Williams and him, like that. I think the Bears are probably going to take Caleb Williams number 1, Marvin Harrison 2. That's great. That's probably, hopefully, some foundational pieces.
I do think that's the only way to get Caleb Williams out of USC next year is getting Lincoln.
And
Riley
he's
with him.
picky. I mean, he's already said it. I don't have to go next year. He's a diva. I mean, there's no two ways about it. He's a diva.
You need his babysitter.
Yeah, and Lincoln Riley, I could even see Lincoln Riley taking the Chargers job. He doesn't have to leave LA.
True.
He does not look content in USC. I mean, I think the college is a lot more difficult of a job than an NFL because you have so many assistants. In college, you got to be the face of everything. You got to go to players' homes. You got to go on recruiting trips. You got to go everywhere. I think he's kind of ready for a time in his life where he can just settle down, be the face of a franchise. He's already established himself as a top 10 coach. I think an NFL is very, very near in his future, and I think the Bears could be a very legitimate possibility. Like I said, him and Caleb Williams have been tied at the hip, so why not in the NFL?
Bring Caleb in if you're bringing Lincoln in. I don't give a shit. I'd
Yeah.
be happy.
Yeah, I mean, it's at that point, you're the Bears. Take a swing.
I like Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, I mean, he's an offensive genius, and that's
bastards! You pull this off, that'd be insane.
I mean, he's an offensive genius, and the Bears' offense has just been so freaking all over the place.
Sure.
But even if they don't take Caleb Williams, I think he's the type of guy that would fix Justin Fields.
Yep.
That would
But
save
you
Justin
could, like you
Fields.
said, you can get all these draft picks too, and deal Fields and
That's
deal
where
some
I'm
other
at. I
things,
mean,
and
bring
get
Harrison.
Williams and Harrison and
Right.
Lincoln Riley and go bang. There's our 3 people. We're going
I
down.
don't know how much teams would sell, but I mean, I would take a handful of second, third, and fourth round picks to give up the first overall. Let whoever wants Caleb Williams take him just build a ton of players, then maybe you're lucky enough and Lincoln Riley wants to work with Justin Fields. I mean, the way Lincoln Riley coaches football, kind of the run and gun West Coast offense, I think would work great for Fields. Fields really is a pretty talented thrower of the
Very
football.
talented.
A lot of people
I
give him
don't think
shit
they're
about
going to
it.
move on from him.
I hope they don't. I think the guy deserves a legitimate shot with a coach that can actually help him, and I think that's. I think
He has potential. He does.
He does. I think the Bears need to invest in him, and you got to invest in a coach that can help him. I think that coach is Lincoln Riley.
And I would not be surprised if they either trade that number 1 or 2 pick and pick up a lineman. I really could see it again.
Like I said, that team is not one piece away from being a championship team.
Exactly.
I mean, you can build around a quarterback, yes, but it's pretty hard to build around a quarterback who's going to be getting freaking destroyed all the time. I mean, the NFC, what is that division? North. NFC North is known for, stingy defenses. I mean, Packers D-line has looked really good this year.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, there's the Aiden Hutchinson. He's going to be a force for years to come. Vikings defense always finds a way to have really good games.
True.
So, I don't
With
know.
some shitty names on that defense.
There is.
That defense.
There is.
Beat the Niners.
True.
did.
I know. And like you said,
That's
they always
what
find a
proves
way.
crazy. Is I'm
They
like,
find
that
a way.
defense sucks, and then they did that. I was like, oh,
Yeah, I mean, they find ways.
whatever. Hey, I don't know. That'd be crazy if the Bears pulled this off. If not, they'll just, like Brooke said, they'll just get all the draft picks in the world for the Caleb Williams sweepstakes and take whoever else they need, really, from that franchise.
Yeah.
True.
So,
Yeah, I mean, the Bears are in the driver's seat as a thing. I mean, there's a whole lot of things they could do. So, yeah, well, I think that probably about does it here. Appreciate everyone tuning in. We'll be back at you next week, and let's see how football lines up this week.